Very welcome, everyone. I'm Tash, and I'm going to be guiding you through around 55 to 60 minutes of relaxation, including a range of practices like gentle movement, pranayama, breath control techniques, and lots of yin and restorative yoga. So in terms of props, we might need a couple of things just to support the body to relax. So if you've got a bolster, grab a hold of a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can always use two pillows, sleeping pillows, because they have more length, or any cushions that you can find around the house. And then if you've got some bricks or blocks, just grab them as well and have them handy. And then if you're anything like me and you like to keep warm, especially during the winter time, it's difficult to relax the body without feeling warm. Make sure you've got some socks and jumpers on, and maybe even a blanket as well. So let's get started in a comfortable seated position to begin with. So you can sit in any seated position that works for you, cross-legged, having the legs stretched out. And then bring the hands on towards the knees or the thighs. Take a moment to take a couple of shoulder shrugs, maybe a little bit of movement through the neck to release tension or tightness in this area. And then we'll carefully bring the body into some sort of physical stillness. Bring the hands together in the heart, in either Namaskar Mudra, prayer hands to heart, thumbs resting on the sternum, or Hridaya Mudra, one hand on top of the other, on top of the heart space. And we'll start with a gratitude practice. Beginning to think about anything in your life that you can feel genuinely grateful for. And perhaps it's one small thing. Maybe it's many, many things. And from that place of gratitude, let there be a gentle inquiry. What is my intention for this practice today? What is it that really brings me here to my mat? Just let yourself get in touch with whatever feels most sincere to you. And it might be the case that the intention doesn't come up straight away. It might come to you during the practice, and that's absolutely fine too. If something occurs to you, just bring that into the heart space. And take a nice slow breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth, let it go. We'll take that 2 more times. Inhale to fill up. Exhale to release. Let's take that one last time, breathing in, filling the chest and the belly and the lungs. And then exhale, just sigh it out through the mouth, let it go. Nice, and then we'll gently blink the eyes open. Bring the hands back on towards the knees or the thighs. Keep the left palm facing up or down. You choose what feels best. And we're going to come into Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. This particular pranayama is great to balance out the energy channels in the body. So in yoga philosophy, there's a channel through the left side and the right side of the body, representing moon and sun, kind of uplifting energy and grounding energy. And this will be a particular practice to balance out those two. So we're going to take the right hand and bend the index finger and the middle finger in towards the center. So you've got the thumb, the ring finger, and the little finger are still lifted. Then we're going to take an inhale through both nostrils. And then you're going to place the right hand thumb on the right nostril and exhale through the left. Gentle pause once you exhaled fully, and then inhale through the same nostril, inhale through the left. Then we're going to seal the left with the ring finger and then exhale through the right. Gentle pause at the bottom. And then you're going to inhale through the right. Then pausing, sealing the right with the thumb, and exhale through the left. So you can inhale through the same nostril that you exhaled. And at the top of the inhale, that's when you're going to block the opposite nostril and exhale through the opposite nostril. So again, repeating, inhaling through the same nostril that you exhaled. Once you reach the top, seal the nostril and exhale through the opposite. Just keep going for a couple more rounds using your own breath. Balancing left and right sides of the body. And as we balance the energy, the nadis, maybe there's a little bit more balance in the breath. A little bit more balance through the mind too. Let's see if you can relax the shoulders and the elbows. Ease some of the effort out of the breathing. Take your last round. The next time you exhale through the left nostril, empty out all of the air out. Empty, empty, empty. Release the hand. Place the hand back down onto the right knee or the right thigh. Release the mudra and take a nice slow breath in. Exhale through both nostrils, nice and slow. Let's take an inhale through both. And an exhale through both. And gently blinking the eyes open. And then if you feel ready to move, absolutely fine if you want to stay here for stillness for a little bit longer. But if you feel ready to move, we're going to sweep the arms behind the back of the body and interlace the fingers. Inhale, knuckles extend down, open through the chest. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades at the back of the body and open through the front. So you're shining the heart forwards, opening through the front of the heart space. Option to stay here in stillness, or maybe you start to bring some movement into the neck. So maybe the chin drops down towards the chest very lightly. Then you lift the gaze and the chin up towards the ceiling, opening through the neck and the throat. And just start to make this movement a little bit more organic. So maybe you want to roll the head here into very gentle circles above the neck. Keeping the fingers interlaced at the back of the body, so you keep opening through the front. Take a breath in and breath out. And we'll pause and we'll reverse the direction of the circle if you're circling the head. And then very carefully releasing that movement when it feels complete. Relax the shoulders, separate the fingertips, and then we'll bring the hands back down in front of us. We're going to keep the left leg drawn in towards the body, but just start to extend the right leg out towards the right. So we're going to take it at more of a kind of diagonal angle here. So right foot, if you were kind of facing a clock, it would be pointing at around the 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock position. A gentle flex through that right foot. Hands come in front of you. Take a breath in, lift up through the crown of the head. And then exhale, gently start to walk the hands or the fingertips forwards and just take a gentle fold over the legs. Keeping a flex through that right foot, right toes lifting up towards the ceiling as you press that right heel away from you to feel that lengthening through the back of the right leg. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then you can stay here in stillness, or maybe you start to explore the space around you. So you might walk the fingertips over towards the left, away from the lengthened leg, and just release through the right side of the body. And perhaps you start to walk the fingertips over towards the right leg. Bring the hands either side and take a gentle fold over that leg, opening up through the opposite side body. And just start to kind of just see what feels good for your body. You might even start to walk the fingertips a little bit further forwards as you bring the torso closer towards the earth. Let the head hang heavy. Let the jaw be soft. Take a breath in. A slow release. One more inhale. Once you reach the top, just let that breath go. Exhale. Let all the heaviness release through the body. Nice. And then we're going to walk the fingertips back towards the body as we lift up through the crown of the head. Bring that left hand behind you. Left fingertips reaching away from you so they're pointing back. And then as we inhale, we're going to send the hips forwards, roll onto the left shin. Exhale, just back bend as much as feels comfortable for you. So right fingertips reach towards the back of the mat. Take a breath in. Exhale here. Then gently bring the bum all the way back down towards the earth. And then we'll swap sides. So right leg comes in and left leg lengthens out. So this time left leg lengthens out to kind of like an 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock position. Bring the hands in front of the body. Gentle flex with that left foot to keep that lengthening going through the back of the left leg. We'll take an inhale to lift up to the crown of the head. And then an exhale just to melt down. You can even start to walk the hands forwards just to kind of initiate that folding forwards of the torso. When you have a little check-in and see what feels best, you might stay in stillness. You might start to explore that space in front of you. Walking the fingertips towards one side and the other, opening up through the side body. Breathing towards the back and the sides of the rib cage. Make a nice slow breath in. And a breath out. Melt and release. Once this pose feels complete for you, we're going to walk the fingertips back towards the body as we lift up through the crown of the head. And this time, right hand comes behind you. Right fingertips reach away from the body. As we inhale, send the hips forwards, lift up through the bum, roll onto the right shin. Exhale, maybe that left hand reaches all the way back here. So squeezing through the bum, sending the hips forwards. Take a breath in. And then exhale to release. Bring the bum all the way down here. And then scoot that left leg back in. And then we'll make our way onto our hands and our knees. So if you have a little bit of a hard floor, you might want to bring a blanket underneath the knees just to add a little bit of softening here. So we're kind of going for cozy vibes. So just make sure that you're really taking care of all of your joints, making sure that they're cushioned before returning down towards the earth. So a blanket underneath the knees, maybe even a blanket through the underneath the hands here, just for a little bit of soft surface. We're not going to move into anything too strenuous here. And then once you come into tabletop, we'll start to take a few cat cows. So as we inhale, bringing the belly low, lifting up through the chest and the tailbone. And then as we exhale, start to round through the spine, drop the head, and push the ground away. And take that a couple more times with your breath, breathing in, lengthening through the front of the body. And then exhale, pull the belly back in, round through the spine, push the ground away. Keep that going with your breath. And this is more of a kind of wind down class. You might even want to close the eyes here and just see how it feels to move with the visual sense organ closed down. And you can stay here, or maybe you just start to kind of just find your own organic free movements through the spine here. So maybe there's a sense of kind of a spiraling motion with the spine, rounding and doming and dropping. There might even be a kind of side to side of the hips. Maybe you even start to circle the hips a little bit, drawing the hips forwards and then all the way back. And perhaps you take a child's pose. That might be what you need right now. And some people even like to take a upward facing dog as we bring the wrists forward, start to sink the hips forwards and lift up through the chest, and then drawing the hips back towards the heels. I quite like to close the eyes here, not really kind of worry or care about what I look like, and really start to fine tune that connection between your body and your breath. Take a nice slow breath in and an exhale here. The last two breaths. Take your time. There's absolutely no rush. Nice. And then we'll slowly come back into a neutral spine. And then exhale, just start to pat the hands forwards towards the top of the mat as you bring the whole of the front of the body all the way down. Untuck the toes here and bring the feet nice and wide. So we're going to take a nice wide stance here. So maybe the feet as wide as the mat, perhaps a little bit wider if that feels comfortable for your body. And we're going to lift up into a Sphinx position. So elbows roughly underneath the shoulders. You might take them a little bit wider if that feels comfortable. Have a sense of pressing down through the forearms here. So forearms and palms pressing down, spreading the fingers wide as you open up through the hands and lift up through the heart space. Melt the shoulders down the back of the body. Take a nice slow inhale. Exhale, an invitation to release through the mouth. You might even interlace the fingers and come into a little bit more of a chilled Sphinx pose. Maybe you allow the spine to round a little bit, so you're initiating a bit of rounding in your back bend. Or maybe you float through the two. So it's kind of like a cat-cow motion with the spine as we inhale, we lift up through the chest. And then as we exhale, we gently round. Two more breaths wherever you are. And we're going to carefully bring bring the elbows out towards the side and front of the body comes all the way down. We're going to bring that right forearm parallel towards the short edge of the mat and then sweep the left arm all the way back behind you. Bend the left leg and take a hold of left foot, left toes, left ankles. If you don't have a hold of the toes, maybe you can take a hold of the trousers or leggings, whatever you're using at the moment, or perhaps you use a strap. And then if you've got a hold of the ankle, the foot, or the toes, just have a sense of the foot moving a little bit closer towards that left bum cheek. And you can rest the chin on the hands if you want. Maybe you bring forehead or chin, cheek down. And just opening up through the front of the thigh, your quadricep muscles. Releasing any tension from the glutes, the upper back, lower back. Take a nice inhale and an exhale. And take 2 more breaths. And then we're going to carefully release the hold of that left foot. Let that left leg go long. And then carefully repeat on the other side. So left forearm comes parallel towards the short edge of the mat. This time you're reaching the right arm all the way back. Grab a hold of right toes, right ankle. And then if you have a hold of the foot, see if you can ease that right foot towards the direction of that right bum cheek. Rest the head down, rest the chest down towards the earth. And feel that opening through the front of the right thigh. And take a breath in. And a breath out. One more breath in here. And exhale here. And we're going to release a hold of that right foot. Let that right leg go all the way back and long. Then we're going to bring both hands to stack on top of each other and rest the chin, cheek, or forehead down towards the ground. Just let the whole of the front of the body get heavy. And see if the body can release tension by about 15% more. So we're not striving for perfection here. We're just seeing if there's any part of the body that wants to relax that little bit more. Okay. An option to stay here if you're like Tash, I am happy here lying on the front. Can be a really nice exercise or posture to do when you're experiencing higher levels of stress and anxiety. Or if you want to come into a supine twist, we're going to bend the left leg, but keep the left leg in contact with the earth and lift that left knee so it's more or less in line with that left hip. So it's almost like you're straddling a pillow on your left-hand side. Then we're going to lift the head and thread the right arm underneath the left and reach that right hand away from you. Then we're going to inhale, lift the left arm up and overhead. And then exhale, you can bring that left hand onto low back as you open through the chest and open the chest up towards the direction of the ceiling here. Or if there's a little bit more space, you can reach that left arm all the way back behind you. I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to hold onto my mic here. You can have a little shuffle here. Maybe that right shoulder wants to come a little bit out towards the right as you get nice and comfy in your twist. So now your chest and your head should be facing up towards the ceiling. Keep the left hand on the low back. You can extend that left arm out towards the side. Gentle twist for the low body. Take a nice slow breath in. And a breath out, releasing. Shoulders act like weights towards the ground. Just allowing the whole body to release into the support of the earth. Two more breaths. Nice. And then you're going to Slowly rotate the chest back down towards the earth. Shuffle that right shoulder all the way back. Bring the arms to form a little pillow. And then carefully slide that left leg all the way back. So now we're kind of ending where we started, lying down in the front of the body. And if you're like, Tash, absolutely fine here. I don't need to do this posture on the other side. Absolutely fine. If you want to come into the twist on the other side, we're going to take it step by step. Slowly start to bend the right leg and slide that right knee so it's in line with the right hip, keeping on contact with the ground. And then we're going to thread that left arm away from us over towards the right. So we're already starting to twist the chest over towards the right. And then as we inhale, start to open up through the chest here. So you're reaching that right arm up towards the ceiling. I quite like to keep the hand on the low back here just to support the low back. Or if you want to, you can open that right hand out towards the side. Maybe even have a block or something underneath that right elbow just to support yourself. Opening the chest, spiraling it up towards the ceiling as much as feels comfortable. We'll take a nice slow breath in. And an exhale here. Couple more breaths. Have a sense of releasing, relaxing into the support of the earth. Last breath in. And exhale. We're going to close up through the chest. Rotate the chest down towards the earth. Slide that right leg all the way back. And we're back where we started, lying down on the front of the body. Just take a moment here. Rest the cheek down towards the earth. Maybe on the hand. And let the body decompress from that quite deep twist. Take an inhale. And an exhale to release. And we're going to slowly bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Push back through hands and knees. And take a child's pose, balasana. Draw the hips back towards the heels. Take the knees as wide as feels comfortable for you. Arms can reach forwards. Maybe the forearms form a little pillow underneath the head. And just have a sense of releasing the upper body down towards the ground. You can roll the forehead perhaps from side to side just to give your forehead a little massage. One more inhale. And an exhale here. And slowly slide the hands back towards the knees. Start to sit back towards the heels, or you can come into a comfortable seated position just for a moment. And then carefully slide the bum off the heels and reach both legs forwards in front of you. Give them a little shake if needed. And then we'll transition into our first yin or restorative posture. I'm going to turn off the lights here just to kind of signal to the body that it's time to start to wind down and relax. You go ahead and dim your lights, or maybe even switch off the lights if you want complete darkness. So the first pose that we're going to come into is going to be caterpillar pose or supported forward fold. So we're going to take the feet about hip width apart, leave a little bit of space in between just to kind of relax through the knees a little. Feet can be flexed or they can be relaxed. And if you want to take a yin posture here, you can just use this posture as a kind of invitation to fold forward. So hands might slide down the knees, hands might slide down the shins towards the feet, and just let the upper body fold here if you want to take it completely unsupported. If you're like me and you quite like to have a little bit of support, we're going to use some blocks here, just because I know that most people have access to blocks rather than a bolster. But if you have access to a bolster, I'll also show you another option. So we're going to make a T shape here with the blocks. So take one block onto its highest setting and then one block onto its lowest setting. So it kind of looks a little bit like this, kind of like a T shape with the bricks. If you've got the flat bricks, so the really flat ones that look a little bit more like this, then you can use cushions or, anything that kind of build up the ground up towards you. So lots of cushions here. Otherwise, taking the bricks. We'll slide the bricks in between the legs and take the feet a little bit wider if it doesn't fit, and slide them up towards the thighs. If you've got access to a blanket here, it's quite nice to have a soft surface for the head to lie on. So perhaps you place the blanket on top of your bricks. Get it nice and soft and nice and easy to lie the head on. And then maybe we're staying here, sliding the hands down the knees or the thighs, and then folding forwards, resting the head on top of the bricks, on top of the blanket. If you get into this and you're like, Tash, you know what? I kind of want to take a little bit more of a deeper forward fold. Slide the bricks forwards, and then you can take a little bit more of a deeper fold. If you've got access to a bolster here, you might want to use the bolster. So you've got lots of options of how you want to use this bolster. You can use it underneath the knees or the thighs as you stack the legs on top and then fold forwards, maybe a block or a cushion underneath the head. Or you can take the bolster onto a slight angle and then rest the forehead on top of the bolster. So I'm going to use the bricks here just because I know that lots of people have access to bricks at home rather than a bolster. But you go ahead and use whatever you have access to. So just take a moment to get comfy here. You might need to have a little exploration, see what feels best for you. And you don't want to push into 100% stretch. So we want to stay in a kind of maybe about 60, 50% stretch. Somewhere where we can feel supported, you can feel a little bit of a stretch, but it's not pushing into anything that feels very tight or very stretchy. Rest the hands wherever feels comfortable for you. Notice if the eyes want to be closed. Or maybe you just relax the eyelids. We're going to punctuate the start of this practice by taking a few full breaths. Empty out all of the air out of your lungs. And take a nice slow breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Inhale to fill up. Exhale to release. Let's take that for one more breath in. And then exhale just to release the heaviness through the body. Starting to breathe your own natural breathing rhythm. Soften through the jaw, relax the shoulders 15% more. And I encourage you to exhale to release heaviness through the body and mind at any point during this pose if you need. Leaving you here in silence for the next 3 minutes. 3 more breaths in here. Taking a breath in through your nose. And then exhale out through your mouth. Let it go. Another breath in to fill up. Exhale, breath out, release. When you feel ready to, gently slide the hands up towards the thighs as you gently lift the body. And then as a recovery pose, we're just going to come to lie down on the back of the body. So just slide your props to one side, lengthen both legs, come to lie back. Arms can rest wherever feels comfortable for you, but I recommend having the palms on the body itself, belly, chest. Let the feet relax away from each other. Let the ankles be soft. The shoulders relax back and down into the support of the earth. It's often in these few moments or few minutes that we come out of the poses that we really soak up the beneficial effects, the relaxation, and just marinate in this for a moment. And when you're ready, just gently blinking the eyes open. Let the visual sense organ adjust back into the light, back into the space. And then carefully drawing both knees in towards the chest. Hands rest on top of the knees or the shins. Relax the ankles and just take a gentle rock from side to side. Gently massaging the low back, and maybe you even start to circle the knees away from each other and then back round. That feels good for your hips. Some exhales through the mouth just to release any heaviness. Lovely. And then we're going to slowly bring the knees back through center once this movement feels complete for you. And then just roll over towards the left, using the right palm followed by the left to gently lift yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Okay, so we're going to transition into a last restorative inversion. And we're going to set up for this posture and do a little bit of self-massage to release some of the tension or tightness that may build up through the body so that you can really relax into that supported restorative posture after. So if you've got a couple of bricks, take the bricks and have them on its lowest setting, one next to each other. Both next to each other, not one next to each other. Just too relaxed after the first restorative. And then if you've got a soft surface like a blanket or something, I highly recommend taking this option because it's quite nice to have something soft to lie the back of the body on. So just place that on top of your bricks. So it's softening that hardness from the foam bricks or wooden bricks that you may have. If you've got a bolster, use the bolster instead of your bricks. And if you've got the bolster, we're going to take the bolster widthways, and instead of the bricks, just take them across your mat about the middle of your mat. And if you've got a bolster, you don't need to use the blanket. The bolster is already a soft surface. So I'm going to again show you with the bricks. We're going to bring that more or less in the middle of your mat, so you have all of that set up. If you like to use a blanket and eye bag, just have that handy of reaching distance, left or right hand side of the mat. And then just come into a comfortable seated position for a moment. And then start to slide your sleeves up So you can release the hands, the forearms. And we're going to take the hands towards the back of the neck and slide the fingertips up towards the hairline. So you're taking the hands towards the top of the neck. Press down through the fingertips to create a little bit of pressure and start drawing circles. And then as you start drawing circles with that pressure, we're going to slide the hands down the length of the neck, go underneath the clothes, and then out towards that fleshy part of the shoulders. And we're going to repeat that movement. So just massaging gentle circles down the length of the neck, in towards the shoulders, and then out. Already start to feel a little bit of release through the shoulders here. And then maybe we start to concentrate on one shoulder at a time. So we can tilt the head over towards the one shoulder, and then just start to use the opposite hand just to kind of knead that fleshy part of the shoulders. Maybe there's a kind of sensitive or tender spot that you want to concentrate on for a little bit of time. You can do so if that is the case. Just applying a little bit of pressure. Maybe you travel up the neck here in towards the hairline area. And you can kind of travel down the length of the arms, almost like you're peeling the flesh off the bone. Down towards the forearms. And then use the hands just to peel something sticky off your fingers. So it's almost like you're pulling the tension out of the hands. And we can move on to the opposite shoulder. Again, kind of kneading here. And you can make this a little bit more intuitive. So if there's any place that feels really tight, maybe just placing a little bit of pressure, pinching the skin, or just kind of holding a little bit of pressure there just to release. You kind of know intuitively if there's anywhere that feels particularly in need of this. Massaging down the shoulder, down the length of the arms, peeling the skin off the bone, down the forearms, and again, just peeling something sticky off these fingers. So it's almost like you're just gently tugging the fingers, peeling the tension off. So once you've done with that massage, you can pause the video if you want to concentrate a little bit more on the massage. And I'm going to guide you into your supported bridge pose with an option to come into supported pontoon pose, moving more into yin as well. So we're going to sit on the little props that we made, the little construction, bit of admin for this posture. And then we're going to bring the feet about hip width apart. Just make sure that your ankles are roughly underneath your knees. So we don't want to have a situation where the ankles are behind the knee. That puts a little bit of pressure on the knee. We want to try and protect that knee joint, so make sure the ankle is in line. Toes pointing forwards, and make sure you've got a little bit of space in between the thighs. So it's almost like you can hold a little brick in between the thighs. You've got a bit of space. And then hands come behind your props. Press down through the feet and the hands to squeeze the bum and lift the hips. Slide the hips forwards, and then place the kind of sacrum. So this kind of bony part just above the bum on top of your bricks. And then using the elbows and the stomach muscles just to gently, slowly bring the shoulders and the head down towards the earth. And you've got options for the arms here. You can rest the arms either side of the body, palms facing up or facing down. Maybe you reach the arms all the way back behind you, a little bit more opening through the side trunk. So I'm going to keep the arms either side because of my mic, but you go ahead and take that option if you want. Might just need to slide the bum a little bit further up, a bit further down. Just get comfy here. It should feel quite supportive. And then you've got an option to keep the legs bent in supported bridge, feet planted, knees pointing up. If you want to move into pontoon pose, then you can stretch both legs towards the front of the mat. If you do this and you're like, oh, Tash, that's not really my jam today, then feel free to rebend. I'm going to stay in supported bridge. That feels more supportive for my relaxation today. Taking a slight tuck of the chin, get that length going through the back of the neck. Keep the shoulders and the head heavy. Take a nice slow inhale through your nose. Exhale, let that breath go. Let's take that 2 more times, breathing in. Exhale, sigh it out. One last breath. And exhale. And that's the kind of feeling that you want to experience in your body here. This is kind of like, best way that I can describe it. Let the thighs relax. Back of the body be soft. The eyelids are so heavy that they might even want to close. A sense of melting and grounding. So keep staying here while I gently turn off my dishwasher, which seems to be going off. The joys of home yoga, eh? And I'll leave you here for the next minute or so in some silence. Last 3 breaths in here. Taking a breath in through your nose. And exhale, let that breath go. Option to stay here for your relaxation. If you want to come down to lie back in your Shavasana, we're going to bend the legs, press down through the feet to lift the hips, use the hands to slide the bricks to one side, roll the back of the body back down, and go straight into your relaxation from here. Let the legs go long. Pop on any layers you need to get yourself warm and cozy. Let me keep time for you. Nothing else to do but rest and breathe. Beginning to deepen your breath. Maybe taking a slightly sweeter and deeper breath in and out. And start to awaken the body, however feels intuitive for you. Maybe a gentle flex and point of the feet, maybe a full body stretch, maybe a yawn. If a yawn is present, let it flow through the body's kind of natural way of stimulating relaxation. A little hug in of the knees in towards the chest. Maybe a gentle rock from side to side. Even reach both legs up towards the ceiling. And just kind of flex and point the feet a little. Movement through the ankles. And then draw both knees in towards the chest and let yourself roll over towards one side. And then carefully lifting yourself up into any comfortable seated position facing roughly this way. Keep the blanket on top of you. We're going to flip the left palm to face up for receiving and bring the right hand onto the heart center, into Anahata chakra, the heart chakra. And we're going to finish off with 3 rounds of Om. So in Sanskrit, Om, A-U-M, is one of the most sacred sounds of the Sanskrit language and is meant to stimulate a sense of connection with the divine, a connection with yourself, your highest self. And even if you don't believe any of that, that humming sound stimulates the vagus nerve in the thyroid and throat gland, and stimulating the vagus nerve starts to stimulate that parasympathetic response in your body. So just bring the hands towards the heart, the right hand. And we're going to sound Om on the exhale breath 3 times. So take a nice slow breath in through your nose. Om. Om. Last round. Om. Bringing both hands together in Namaskar Mudra at the heart space, thumbs resting very gently on your sternum. Just taking a moment to thank you and your body for all your practice today. We'll end by taking one last breath in and out together, really releasing all of that heaviness through the exhale breath. Take an inhale. Exhale to release. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for this practice. Hope you have a lovely sleep ahead of you or relaxation ahead of you, and hope to see you very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Please be very gentle with yourselves for the rest of the day or the evening. Thank you.